many calls did you miss last week? If you're honest, you don't know. And that's the problem, because every one of those calls was a real person with a real job, ready to hire someone. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that's worth, and you won't let it happen the same way again. If you appreciate this type of content, gently tap that like button. Let's dive in. Here's what's actually happening out there. You're on a roof. You're under a house. You're in a basement dropping wire with both hands full. Your phone rings and you can't get to it. It goes to voicemail. And you think they'll leave a message. I'll call them back in an hour. That's what you do. And that's what a reasonable person does. But that's not what they do. And that's exactly where your money walks out the door. Let's talk numbers, because this is where most owners stop and go quiet. On the low end, a trade's job is worth $500. That's conservative. Most of you are working jobs worth more than that, but let's use $500 to keep this simple. Now, let's say you miss 3 calls a week. And that's not a lot. For some of you, 3 calls is a slow Tuesday morning. 3 missed calls at $500 each is $1,500 a week. That's $6,000 a month. That's $72,000 a year. $72,000 from missed calls. Money that came looking for you and left because nobody answered. So what happens on the other end of that call? Here's what I see in the field. That customer doesn't sit and wait. They're busy too, and they've got a to-do list. And call someone about this is on it. They want to check it off and get on with their day. So when they get your voicemail, they hang up. They don't leave a message. They go to the next number. They keep calling until someone picks up, until someone says, we can have someone out to you on Thursday. And the second that happens, you're done. It doesn't matter that you called back 2 hours later. It doesn't matter that you do better work or have better ratings. The job is gone. And you never even knew that you were competing for it. Quick break. If what I'm describing sounds familiar and you're ready to stop leaving that money on the table, I'd love to have a conversation. You can book a free 20-minute call in the description. There's no pitch and no pressure, no decision required ever before we hang up. It's just an honest conversation about what's actually happening in your business. The link is in the description and the pinned comment below. Now here's the good news. This is fixable, and it doesn't require you to hire a full-time receptionist or tear apart how you run your business. What it does require is a simple process, one that makes sure every call coming in gets a response, even when you physically cannot pick up the phone. What that looks like is different for every business, but the principle is always the same. A person who calls you should never feel like they disappeared into a void. They should know someone received their message and someone is coming back to them. When that one thing is in place, you stop losing jobs you never even knew you were in the running for. The phone becomes an asset again instead of a gap. So back to that number, $72,000 a year. What does that do for your business? You do want to grow. Could you hire some help with that money? Could you actually hit the goal you set at the start of the year? For most of the owners I talk to, the answer is yes. And the money isn't missing because the business is slow. It's missing because the phone isn't being handled. And that is one of the most fixable problems in a small business. You don't have to accept it as part of the deal. And if you want to go deeper on what happens after you fix the phone, specifically why your business still can't run without you, even when you solve this problem, I made a video on exactly that. You can check it out by clicking right here.